Hello, you guys, and thank you so much for tuning into my channel. My name is Christabel, the original Power Ranger princess, but on this channel, I'm Princess Power Ranger. So, I just wanted to make like a quick, short video. Um, this is a story time that happened like a couple of months ago, and I think sometimes when you're a trans girl, you can sometimes fumble the dick. And I most certainly did in this situation. So, a couple of months ago, I was living in Cape Town, and at the time, I was living in a backpackers. Now, obviously, in a backpackers, there are different people who come, people from all over the world. Um, Now, I'm going to prefix this by saying 2 months ago, I was also like talking to someone. So that also influenced my decision as to why I didn't want to pursue this guy. So, so fine. I'm staying at the backpackers, and this Dutch boy checks into, like the accommodation. So I'm gonna give you just a quick kind of like overview of this guy. He was like 6'2", ash blonde hair. He had these beautiful hazel eyes, and girl, you could crack a walnut on that ass. Like his body was amazing. His body was so nice, and I'll be honest. I think back when I was staying at that backpackers, I was dealing with so much, and hooking up and dating was probably the last thing on my mind. But I could definitely tell that this guy was super hot. Let me just try and move out of the sun, because. Anyways, let me continue the story. Um, this guy was like so freaking hot. Like, I can't even begin to tell you. But I never really like tried to talk to him. There we go. I think that's much better. I never really talked to him. Like, I would see him like every day in the morning or in the afternoon. Um, and he'd always be like checking me out, but I don't know. I was always in my own world, and I'm no longer the type of person who goes out of my way to greet strangers, especially not at a backpackers. But I definitely saw him like checking me out. So I had a friend at the time, and we're going to call this friend Haley. So Haley is like, what, 21, 20 years old, and she was a sweet, bubbly girl, but she was super shy. And for me, I was really trying to get Haley to meet someone and to like hook up and to have that, like 21-year-old experience, because that's what she said she had really wanted. And when this Dutch guy, we're going to call him Steven, when Steven checked into the backpackers, I was like, okay, perfect. Let me try and introduce this Dutch guy to Haley, and maybe they can like hook up, and it'll be like so cute. The babies will do their thing. So, it was about like Friday or whatever. So on Friday, I'm gonna meet up with Haley, and we were gonna go to another backpackers for beer pong. And I decided, I'm just gonna be brave. And I've noticed that Steven's been checking me out. I'm just gonna go talk to him and invite him out with us. Not for me, but for Haley. Cool, whatever. So fine, me, Steven, and Haley, we all go out. And the minute I told him, like the minute I went up to him and greeted him and asked him if he wanted to come out with us, his eyes, shot up, and he was like, yeah, of course, let's do it. And I was like, okay, cool. But I told him even before we went to go meet Haley, I was like, I really want you to meet my friend. Her name is Haley, and she's so hot and she's so pretty, and I think you guys will get along. Fine. We get to the backpackers. It's me, Steven, and Haley, and we met up with another friend of ours. And girl, Steven was kind of interested in Haley, but it was one of those things where he was still kind of like checking me out, and it was like awkward because now I had opened up a conversation between all of us. What made it really difficult was the fact that both Steven and Haley are super, super shy. So I had to be like the mouthpiece for both of them. Anyways, we ended up going to a couple of clubs, and I remember I had this like white dress, but it's I've worn it before. It was like this like white dress with like sequins on it, and you could kind of like see my girls. I looked really, really good. And anyways, we all go out, we party, and at the end of the night, because me and Steven stay at the same backpackers, we go home together. Right. So at this point, I'm really tired. I want to sleep. We sit down. And Steven, who had been quiet the entire evening pretty much, suddenly becomes chatty Cathy with me. And he really wanted to go and get like something to eat with me and like talk to me. But as we're like talking and stuff, mind you, at this point, I've had some weed and I'm drunk, and I'm just looking into this boy's eyes and I'm like, but you would taste so yummy. And he already knew I was trans, and he already knew I was a top. So it was just one of those things where we're kind of vibing. Tell me why there's this black guy. We're gonna call him Elijah, and I love Elijah. Elijah was like so sweet and amazing. We almost hooked up. But Elijah comes and he sits in between me and Steven, and he sort of sensed, Steven was still hitting on me. And nah, Elijah just blocked that cock with everything in his power. He asked me if we could go to the other side of the backpackers and talk. And me, stupidly, I agree. We get there, and Elijah had me talking to him for like 35 minutes. By the time I get back to where Steven was, Steven had obviously gone back to bed because Elijah had blocked any and all opportunities. Cool. At this point, I'm like already tired. I've been out the entire night, and I'm like, okay, Elijah, it's been good talking, but I need to get to my room. I give him a hug. I'm heading off to my room. He follows me, literally pushes the door open as I'm like going into my room. And yeah, it was at this point where Elijah was just very like belligerent. He closes the door behind him, and he jumps onto my bed. And I look at him. I'm standing over the bed looking at him, asking, Elijah, my guy, what are you doing? Please get up and leave. And he's acting as though we're going to hook up. He grabs me by my arm, and he's trying to move me towards the bed. I sit down. It's not that I was uncomfortable, it's just that I was pissed the F off. I hate it when guys try to like almost coerce you into like doing stuff with them, and I just wasn't having it. He was like kissing me on my neck. He was trying to push me down on the bed. And baby girl, I turned into a demonic entity. I turned into a demonic entity, and I pushed him off me, and I told him to, you, I was like, sunuka nyoko, sungikhala ngamasimba, ha, mundu. Do, damn it. I pushed him right off me and told him to get the hell up out of my room. I was so pissed. Anyways, and what annoyed me is that besides that incident, he is otherwise a cool dude and whatever, and I enjoyed hanging out with him. And that's what was confusing. And because he had pulled this stunt, now Steven obviously assumed that I was with Elijah. And you see, like, talking to guys and entertaining guys, whether you're interested or not, is always complicated when you're trans. Because the one thing Elijah kept saying to me was, oh, I know everything about you. The other guys already told me you're transgender. I don't even care. Like, it's okay. So you don't have to push me away. It wasn't about that. I told those guys that I was trans. This is information I announced to y'all. It's not like y'all found out some secret that I wasn't already talking about even on the internet. Whew, Elijah pissed me off. Anyways, so Steven ends up hooking up with Haley. This is what I wanted. I was low-key jealous. Tell me why the two of them, like, basically have, like, awkward sex or whatever, and yeah, it just doesn't work out between the two of them. And the whole time, like, I kept thinking, you know, like, after he left, I was like, maybe if I had been nicer, maybe if I had kind of given him a chance, maybe, I don't know, maybe it would have ended differently. It wouldn't have. He would have still gone back to the Netherlands, and I would have still been here, and I would have still felt lost, lonely, and whatever. I don't like hooking up with guys because as much as I love, you know, like spicy time, as much as I love smeggles, as much as I love coitus, as much as I love to tear a hole into a bottom, unfortunately, I have this weird thing where I literally almost fall in love with anybody that I dare, you know, beat up with my dick. So, because of that, I would much rather remain celibate, much rather um, focus on one person that I'm talking to than get caught up in all of these taste young mans on the streets. Anyways, I'm gonna end this video. I'm gonna end it. I'm gonna end it because I want to go swim. Anyways, to my American subscribers, I hope you guys had a wonderful Indigenous Peoples Day. Yeah, like, I hope you guys had, like, turkey. I hope you guys were with family. I hope you guys were surrounded by love and light. I personally don't call it Thanksgiving. I call it Indigenous Peoples Day. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it was wonderful, and I love you. I hope you like, comment, and subscribe. Auf Wiedersehen. Bye.